Welcome to Live, Let Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello, hello, hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
Of Live.
Let Thrive.
What's up? Myka,
What
man.
up? How you doing, man?
Oh, man. Hectic as always, but that's how we like it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What you been up to? Taking over the world?
Man, working, hustling, ready to get back on the podcast, promoting all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But today, what episode we on?
We're on episode 97. Almost
97.
to 100.
Almost to 100. But yeah, we now have a special guest. I don't want to mess his name up. I'll let Steve say his name because I don't want to butcher it.
Oh, yeah. Put me on the spot. We have Assaf Karmon, the CEO and founder of TurnoverBnb.
Well, it's great to be here, and I really have to applaud you for not butchering my name. Very few people can do that, so congratulations.
Yeah, it's not my first rodeo, Assaf. Well, see, it's awesome to have you here. And I got to admit, I just started using TurnoverBnb. Myka's been preaching about it for a long time now.
Oh, yeah.
And up until recently, I was down on my hands and knees helping the wife scrub the toilets and hating life. But I managed to fire me and my wife from that part of the business. And man, we're just so happy. And thank you so much. If I could shake your hand, I would. It's
Virtual handshake.
From across the Pacific, let me cross your hand.
But yeah, definitely the app, man, it's really changed how I do business. So I guess actually the first question I guess we had for you was like, how did you come up with the idea of TurnoverBnb?
Just like you guys, I was bogged down in the logistics of, cleaning and restocking and scheduling and texting that, it was impossible to grow. You just take on so much responsibility that I have got to delegate it. And then you find the cleaner, but that doesn't mean that all the coordinating is taken care of. So for me, as a software engineer, that's my background. I always have software in mind as a solution for every problem. And this one happened to be a problem that I was very intimate with. So this is how it started.
Wow. So where were your Airbnbs at?
So in Honolulu, and I was also helping others with their operations.
Oh, nice. So you already lived in you grew up there, or you moved there later in life?
No, so I actually grew up in Israel, and then I moved to the East Coast. I lived in New York City and Boston for a while, and then there was one really bad winter in Boston, and I was like, okay, gotta get out of here. So that's how I got to Honolulu.
Just booked it to Hawaii. That's
Yeah.
the dream. That's the dream.
It is.
That's awesome. And so how many rentals did you have before you just said, this is enough, I need to build this thing?
So I didn't have a huge operation. It was like under 10 units. It was kind of up and down. But it's enough to, even with one or two, it's enough to drive you crazy. So
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's really what drove it.
So explain to us what TurnoverBnb is.
So TurnoverBnb is a place where you can find excellent cleaners that know the Airbnb business, because we all know that it's one thing to clean a house, it's another thing to clean an Airbnb efficiently, right? So we have a marketplace with a huge network of cleaners that already know what they're doing. And then on top of it, we have the best scheduling and workflow software that's specifically designed for vacation rentals. So you can put in your property details, your property calendar, and we would pull all the reservations and then dispatch them to your cleaners. And you can have one cleaner or 10 cleaners, and you can have different priorities. You can set different prices for different cleaners for different properties, and we will also pay your cleaners for you. So there's really nothing left for you to do. We have a lot of customers that use TurnoverBnB and they never log in because we just do it all for them. So they only have to do something when, there's, something out of the ordinary. But usually we get the reservations, send it to the cleaners. If the reservation change, we notify the cleaner of the change. When the cleaners are done cleaning, we pay them. So you can run your operation in another country. Like recently, I was looking into getting a property in Brazil and just managing it through TurnoverBnB.
That's
And
awesome.
it's possible. And we have people who do it. We have people who manage properties from a different continent.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I will speak to how good your app is. We're not getting paid for this. I'm gonna tell all our fans right now, we're not getting paid for this. I just started loving this app right away, and I was like, man, that's like the number one questions. The question that we get from our fans is, how do I, improve my turnovers, or how do I find a good cleaner? That's like and I've been telling them this app has been kicking butt for me. And but to show you how good, like you said, it's the awesome scheduling software. It does everything. Because I was new to it, and we this is full disclosure show. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say, I don't make you mad or nothing. But when I had the cleaner and I got to the house, I was like, whoa, this is insane how good she cleaned it. She even put rolled up towels and water bottles. She did went above and beyond. I was like, this is freaking awesome, and spotless clean. And I called her. I was like, thanking her for it. And I was like, so, I want you to be my forever cleaner. How does this work in the future? Do you want to, full disclosure, I'll say, do you want to operate outside the app so they won't take money from, I don't know, I'm sure this conversation goes on a lot. But anyways, she said, let's just stay in the app. It's just easier for me. So I'll know when my cleanings are. It just keeps everything neat, nice and neat for me. So just keep doing it like that. When you have one, throw it on there, and I'll grab it. And I was, wow, she loves it so much. She don't mind you taking a little nibble of her money. That's pretty. That says a lot.
I mean, our thing is always to give value, right? So one thing is when you bring your own cleaners, we don't get in the way, right? You can work with your own cleaners. We don't take anything. But when you use the cleaners in our network, you're not the only person that that is giving her gigs through the platform. So the cleaners love it because they get consistent flow of customers. They don't have to they don't have to text with you all the time. Everything is in the app. So it makes life of everyone very simple.
Very
especially come tax time. This is when it really shines. And I don't know if you've been using it enough to experience a tax time with us. You have everything documented. Everything is ready to be expensed. And if you think about, just working with random people, usually people don't give you receipts, or even if they do you keep them? With us, it's just like you have a button, export all my receipts from the past year, and everything is just, ready to be expensed.
That's beautiful.
That's what I love about it.
How long you been using it, Myka?
I don't know how long exactly, but I know it's at least been 6 months. I don't think I've been using it since 2018, but it's been maybe a little longer. I may have been using it in 2018 because I had a couple of arbitrages I used it on, and that's when I fell in love with it because I was like, man, I ain't got to go downtown. I don't have to pass off a key. You can get it all through Turnover. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is perfect. So I love it.
A nice pro tip is always have, at least 2 cleaners per property trained, right? Because the nice, if you really want to make sure that you never have to be like, oh man, I have to go to that unit and clean it because someone is coming and that, that cleaner is unavailable. People are people, right? And if you always have 2 cleaners that are trained, if one doesn't take a project, the second one will, right? So you always have that safety net. And we make it very easy to work with, 1 to 10 cleaners, even more than 10, whatever. But I only seen people with 10. Um, so that's a nice pro tip. Always have backup, because this is how you'll never be in a position where you have to scramble, and we've all been there, right?
Oh yeah, big time. One thing I was gonna ask, because like I said, I'm a newbie to this, and so what happened? I had texted her. I was like, okay, I got another one coming up. She did, because I just started this Airbnb this past month, and so I got I got a couple bookings, and I put her to do the first one, and then she did a great job, and I was like, and then another one popped up, and I was like, I texted her, okay, so we're gonna go through the app. What do I do? Do I just put it on there and then you bid for it, or how? She goes, yeah, just throw it on there, and then so I threw it on there, and all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, what happens next? She's like, oh, I already grabbed it. I'm like, because I gave her like 5-star, great review, right? And so when that happens, when you give a cleaner like a glowing review, does that cleaner able to just automatically grab it without having to bid for it, or how does that work?
So they bid on the property once, right? So they say, okay, this is a small studio, it's $50, for example. So every time you get a guest, then it generates a project on the checkout, and that project is 50, right? And you can, that price can be revised, but it's usually the same price always. There's another option, which is per hour. It's kind of less popular, but some people do it. So we will measure the time that they're there, and it would be like, by fractional of minutes.
Another pro tip, because you just said by the hour. That's one thing I actually suggest people to do. If you're charging $75 on Airbnb for cleaning, and if you can get a cleaner to clean your place for $15 an hour in 4 hours, you just made $15 off the cleaning. So, and then the rest goes to your cleaner. I tell people that too. That's why I'm going to start using that pay by the hour feature, because I like that idea.
Yeah, most people like the predictability of a fixed price, but if you have a little bit of an appetite for, experimentation, that's another way to do it. It's really up to the cleaner, the price that they want to charge. You can always talk to them later. Hey, can we move to a different price structure? It's very easy to do through the app, is to adjust the prices. Another cool feature, if you're managing for other people, and is to set a different credit card per property. So if you have a customer that you manage the property for, and you want them to pay the cleaning fee, then you can just put their credit card on file for that property, and all the cleanings will be charged to that card.
Sweet.
Man, that's good. So, like, this is one thing I guess we did, because that was one question I had. Like, how many users are you guys up to, and like, what are you guys in all major markets now, or are you guys still trying to get there?
So we're in, last time I checked, it was 66 countries. So that's basically everywhere, I think, worth visiting at this point. Sometimes I like to check out, the exotic places where we have customers, like, Bora Bora, or like the Maldives, places like that. Obviously Hawaii. But one of the things people really love is that if you have one property, you can use it absolutely for free. So that's if you use your existing cleaners, you can use the software for free with one property. So we want to make sure that, people just at the beginning of their, real estate or property management career can just, get started, get used to it, and really love it. And we get a lot of love from the community for that. And this is why you have users really everywhere.
And after the first property, how much does it cost?
So if you're using our cleaners, then that property is free. If you use your own cleaners, then it's $6 per month per property, which is, I think, very reasonable.
Yeah, it's not bad.
For the amount of money it saves you, it comes out to like, 50 cents an hour or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Money
wow.
and time.
Now, when did y'all start this? What year did y'all start this?
So we launched in 2017. I remember I was in Tokyo on vacation, and we had launched it the day before, and I just got a notification that we have our first user signed up.
Okay, so you're in 66 countries and you launched 2 years ago. How did you guys advertise and how did you grow so fast? Because that's insane growth.
I mean, people love it. We give it away with one property, so it's really like there's really no reason in the world why you wouldn't use it if you only have one property. If you have more than one property and you have no value for your time, then don't use it. But if you value your time just a little bit, then it's a no-brainer. I think it's just a factor of value. You give people something that saves them a lot of time. They tell their friends. And we have spent no money on marketing.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, I guess you could thank us because we talk about you all the time.
Maybe it's all because of you guys, actually.
Yeah. We should have. Hopefully, they used our
Send the
sign-up code.
royalty checks to Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah, send me the ads. Yeah.
Yeah, because I did go crazy because when I first started using it, I was like, man, you got to get on TurnoverBnB. I was going crazy with it. So yeah.
Because didn't you told your cleaner to get on there too?
Yeah. I've actually onboarded all my cleaners on there.
Oh,
Ones in different cities. I tell them, hey, get on there, and then it's easy too because you can when you get a new booking, right? Something gets instant booked, then you can see, hey, I got a notification on my phone, hey, your cleaner has accepted your new project. I'm like, oh yeah, easy. So that's what I love about it.
Man,
You have multiple cleaners, so if one can't get it, another one can. So, and then it actually encourages the cleaner to go ahead and get on and make sure they can always get it. So it's awesome.
They really, once you are on the system a little bit and you sort of see how it works, the only times you really have to do something is, let's say you get a notification, hey, you have a cleaning coming up that no one has accepted. So that's really the only time you step in and say, do I find another cleaner? Do I do this myself? God forbid, So that's really the only time you need to do something. Then we also alert you in case there's something unusual. The cleaners would say there's an issue. They have their mobile app and they'll say there's an issue, like broken glass or toilet flooding or item missing, and then you get a notification, issue reported. So it's really about a lot like autopilot, right? The pilot is there in case something happens, but the system just flies the plane 90% of the time. And that's our philosophy, is autopiloting as much as possible, because we know we're all in it really to make it a passive income source.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
One thing that crossed my mind, and especially since y'all are big now, you got traction and everything. The name you TurnoverBnB. Did you get like a warning letter from Airbnb saying don't use that at the end of your name? Did you get anything like that?
No, I mean it's what they've are known for is the air part. The BNB part was there before, right? So people were running BNBs before Airbnb. The reason they named it Airbnb is because, they wanted to be associated with the BNB part, which is generic, which is, I've been to BNBs before Airbnb was launched, right? So, and the thing is, we also do platforms that are not Airbnb. So if you have a property where it's listed on HomeAway and on Airbnb and on some other platforms, you can add the integrations to all of them, and we would treat them the same way and create one calendar for you for all of your reservations and all your projects. So we are agnostic to the platform. The majority is Airbnb. Airbnb is a wonderful platform that I think is the easiest to use, and I really like it. But get a lot of business from Booking.com, get a lot of business from VRBO as well.
Wow. So I kind of have a personal question for you, because like you got this awesome company off the ground. Are you still doing software engineer work, or do you plan on expanding to other avenues of software that Airbnb hosts may need, or how's that going?
Yes. So I do a lot of coding every day, not as much as I used to do. I used to be the only developer. Now we have about 10 developers. So but I still do coding. I like it. I can't really stop.
Yeah.
It's my baby, right? I'm definitely very much involved in the technical aspect. In terms of our plans for other services, we have a lot of things in the pipe that are coming. One thing that I'm excited about is we are going to add a feature soon that will help those of us that want to do to get more customers to their property management business, is to help them with that. Because there's a lot of people on the platform that have grown their business, and we can see that they're doing really well, and we want to help them find even more customers, because we do get a lot of people that ask us, hey, I found great cleaners through you, but do you know any property managers in this area that I can work with? And so we've been doing these connections manually, sort of just like as a nice service to our customers, but we're going to try and do that a little bit more automatically.
Oh, okay.
That's smart. That's a smart one.
What about throw some handyman up there to if there is an issue, you can get a handyman.
Yeah, that's definitely in the pipe.
Wow, one-stop shopping. That's awesome.
Yeah, just putting everything on autopilot and reducing up your day-to-day involvement, because what is it about property management? It's just communication, right? It's just making sure that the right people are in the right place in the right time. So we're there to take a lot of load off your shoulder.
Whose idea? Because this is a really cool idea. Was the bidding process that people get to bid for your job? That's pretty cool. That's pretty unique. Who did you come up with that, or what?
Yes. Well, not me personally. We have a team here, and we thought about this problem, and we realized that we don't really know what the right price is per property per location, right? So that you can have the exact same property in Honolulu and move it to Texas. I can guarantee it would be a different market price for the cleaning. So we don't have the capacity to tell what's the right price. We also want to give the cleaners the independence to set their own prices. And those that really have an excellent reputation should be able to charge more than people that don't have that reputation. Because if they've served dozens of customers, they've completed hundreds or even thousands of projects, they really know what they're doing. There should be a little bit of premium that goes with it. So we let people set their own prices and work out the deal that works for them.
One thing that that kind of stuck out at me a little bit was okay, I gave my cleaner rave reviews, 5 stars, all that stuff the first time, and she did another great job the second time, but there was no way for me to rank her the second time. Is that just a one-time deal?
Yeah, it's something that we're looking to also. I guess you don't want to see, for example, when you go to Amazon and you look at the product reviews, and if one person put 10 reviews in there, it sort of loses its meaning a little bit.
Yeah.
but we might do something that would be sort of an internal feedback.
That would be good. Because
Yeah.
so what if she does a crappy job the second time and like, she's still got my 5-star, you know what I'm saying? Not that she would, but I'm just saying. And
I see your point, yeah.
And also another thing, do they rank us? Do they rank us hosts at all? Like, this guy's house is always crappy. Don't go clean it. You know what I'm saying?
That's one more thing that we have to work on. We're not sure exactly how that's going to play out, but I think it's something that's important for cleaners to know. So that's something that we're going to work on. You wouldn't believe the number of things that we have to work on. I mean, the work is never finished. I remember, when I used to do freelance jobs as a software engineer, someone would say, "Hey, I have this app idea. How long is it going to take to build it?" And I would always say, "Forever."
Speaking of that,
it never stops.
So you guys launched in 2017. How long did it take you to develop it and launch it? Like from development to launch, like how long did that process take?
So we really believe in sort of the lean methodology of when you have something, put it out there. So what we launched with was just a calendar. There were no marketplace, no payments. It was just a calendar that you could share, like a nice calendar that you can share with your cleaners. And then we added checklists, and we added payments, and we added the marketplace, and we're adding more features and making it into one cohesive product. But we add another layer, every couple of months. So you just start with something small that gives someone a little value, and then you add more value and more value and more value.
Like the old adage, ready, fire, aim.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the one thing I love, there's another one that's a pro tip for you guys that are going to use it. The cleaning list that he brought up. The best part, I'm going to tell you how I always utilize it, is I'll go find someone else. After I make a cleaning checklist, I'll go view someone else's, and usually they'll have something on there that you forgot, and it's a great way. Or you can just find one you really, really like and just use it. So yeah, that's the best part about it. I love that cleaning checklist.
Yeah, that's really nice because there are checklists that people have been kind enough to share, and you can see, wow, there are like 100 items here, but you really need to hit them all if you want. Oh yeah, I definitely didn't have clean like the refrigerator on my checklist for a long time, right? And so it never got done, right? Or clean the back of some furniture or something that you'd always miss, or like the microwave plate, make sure to wash it, things that you would do but you can forget also.
Man, the biggest one I seen off someone else's checklist was dust the top of the ceiling fan. That was a huge one. I was like, oh, I never thought about that. And sure enough, after I seen it, some guest complained about it, so I added it to my list.
and another feature that we released recently that I highly recommend is the guest checkout flow. So, are you using this?
Yeah, I love it because a guest said they were checking out early, and my cleaner got a hold of it, and the guy said they were checking out at 6 o'clock. She went over there, got it clean at 6 o'clock when they checked out. Yeah, I love that.
So that's actually enhanced now. So we give them a URL to go when they check out. And then not only can you know that they check out early, we also ask them for their feedback about their stay. Right? You say, okay, if there were any issues, let us know. So the situation is ideally they'd say everything was great, 5 stars. So then you know that this is good. But if they say, hey, there was some dust on the ceiling fan, the microwave plate was a little dirty, 4 stars, then you know that they didn't have the best stay. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is opportunity for you to reach out to them and make things right before they place a review that cannot be removed.
That's beautiful.
That's
So this
smart.
is sort of a protection layer that gives you a window to make things right before a review is written, a review that matters.
That's
Smart.
awesome.
So you just
Yeah.
add that to your checkout instruction. Please go to this URL and say that you checked out. So it's a very minimalistic flow. It takes 1 second. All they say is, yes, I'm checking out now. And then we say, how was your stay? And they say, 4 to 5, or 1 star or 2 stars. If it's a 5, like, great, enjoy, come again. If it's less than 5, what happened?
Mhm.
Let us know. And then you're notified, you get a notification on your phone, and then you can spring to action and try and make things right before you get a nasty review.
And this review, this feature goes directly to the guest, right?
Yes.
That is okay. I love that. I love that.
So it had helped me numerous times from, just people that, they're just like unhappy about something. And, if you can get in front of them and just talk, then you usually don't get hit with a bad review.
That
Right.
is true.
Obviously, sometimes, you deserve the bad review and you're going to get it no matter what. But sometimes it's just about making that extra connection just to make people feel better, right?
Mhm.
When people have that connection with you, they're less likely to give you a bad review.
That is true.
This really helps you just focus your attention on the people that are at this critical point of just making up their mind.
That's a cool little add-on right there. I like that. Save the stars. Hit the stars.
Yes.
Oh man, yeah, so much to ask you. I got a whole bunch. Excuse me, real quick. You say you have the best cleaners out there, and one thing. Okay, yeah, like I said, we always dig in here. There's a lot of Airbnb bans and restrictions going on, and there's a lot of Airbnbers out there that don't want their address easily access to the world. You know what I'm saying? And the first thing the app asks you is your address. And I actually chimed in. I talked to one of I chatted with you on your website, and I was asking him some questions. Who gets this address, and how do you know someone from let's say someone from the city doesn't just hop on to look at people's addresses and pretend they're a cleaner and then go start ratting on people saying, hey, this is a party house, blah blah blah, trying to get you shut down. So that's what I was asking. How do you protect the hosts from getting their information out there to people that aren't actually
the cleaners that are bidding, they don't see your address. They see it similar to the way Airbnb does it.
Okay.
Like we draw a circle of like an estimated location. So they don't actually see your address. They can see as granular as the zip code. Then once they bid and you talk to them and they accept the bid, then when projects come, they come with an address. Now, not every cleaner from the street can join our marketplace. It's actually quite a process. So they have to submit an application that has references from other hosts. On top of that, we need their bank information. We need their photo ID back and front. There's a human being that validates it. And they also sign a contract. So this is not just any person from the street. There's really a vetting process that we do.
That makes sense because you're letting strangers into your house. They better be not just getting on the app to start robbing people.
That would be the worst plot in the world, is to join our app in order to rob people, because you would be instantly caught, right? Look, we know.
Exactly.
Right. So we know everything that we need to know. We have the ID, we have the bank account information, your phone number, your address. It would be, it wouldn't be very smart. It wouldn't be very smart.
It'd be like an Uber driver trying to rob one of their clients. I mean, all their information's there. I mean, they're going to catch them real quick.
It's like the easiest case to crack. It really wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Definitely.
And we've done. I should probably know this number, but tens, if not hundreds of thousands of projects, and there has been no serious issue of any kind. I mean, the worst thing that has happened is, a cleaner took the laundry to clean, but then had forgotten to return it. And then we had to call them and ask that they go return it, and they returned it. I mean, that's as dramatic as it ever happened. And there was really a lot of projects.
Yeah.
Ton
of them.
Yeah, so it's really thousands every day, and it's pretty remarkable, because I was, when we just started it, I thought we will have issues and how we will deal with them, but no, it's just people want to work and people want services, and we have enough validation in place to weed out any bad actors. And we have a very dedicated support team that is on top of everything. So we have customer service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's always someone on the chat that you can talk to if you have questions. And so far, it's been going great.
Now, real quickly on that, because I noticed that a lot of these companies have these chats, and sometimes you got to wait a long time before you finally get someone, and it's just like auto responses until they can figure out to put someone on there to answer your question. But y'all's I guess you got some little pictures of people that you're allegedly talking to, and
no, these are real pictures.
That's
real
the real.
people.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is that the real? Those are the real people talking to you?
Yeah, we found that one of the things that people love the most is having that real person to talk to when they need it. And people like to do it over chat. I think that's the most natural way to people to communicate these days. And sometimes we might be a little underutilized, but I'd rather have that than you having to wait a long time to get help.
So it's only like 4 or 5 little pictures there, or how many people? That's the whole support team.
Yeah, and we have sort of 8-hour shifts,
and they're great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're fast. They're on it.
Yeah.
And so customer service is big with y'all. And so I'll ask a question like, who does I don't know, who inspires you in business, or what company or what person you're like, wow, they did it right. I want to try to model my company like around what they did, something like that.
So one of the biggest influence that I've had in my career was a company that I worked at in New York City called Conductor. And they are a search engine optimization tool that I use for our company, and we really get a lot of value out of it. And for them, there's this mantra of customer focused. If you do everything that you can do for your customer and make your customer happy, then you'll succeed. And it's really a customer driven mentality is what we try to practice. So I picked it up there. They're a wonderful company. Recently got bought by WeWork, another company that I really like.
I use WeWork all the time.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it nice to go there and everything is beautiful and bright and makes you feel like you're a success just sitting there. So Yes.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I think I soaked up a lot of that customer centric approach over there.
Okay. So one thing I did say, because Steve touched on it a little bit. He said the legislation's going on in Hawaii, because we talk about legislations and laws all the time. How are they going, and have there been any slowdowns in Hawaii, or how is that looking over there?
I mean, it's pretty bad. I was involved in the process, of trying to persuade the city council to tame it down. I wrote some op-eds. I went to talk to the council, and it seems like there was a lot of pressure there to do something, and they just really signed a law that I think was probably completely drafted at the hotel lobby. Lawyers, like, they probably wrote the whole thing. And so it effectively bans any Airbnb outside the resort zone of Waikiki, and there's another little one in the North Shore and one in the West Side. And I think it's probably the worst law, the Airbnb law in the nation. Like the San Francisco and New York are actually better.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't think they've actually have done any enforcement so far. It's been in effect for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know that anyone got busted yet. But it's definitely a deterrent, and I know a lot of people that have stopped because their properties were outside the resort zone. So, I mean, I think the silver lining is that we do everything late here in Hawaii. So, probably most of the cities that have had major political pressure to have done something already have already done it. So I think we can take comfort in the fact that it's probably most of it is behind us, like these sort of laws.
Now, is that just in Honolulu, or is that Maui? Is that all the islands?
No, it's just the island of Oahu. So this is legislation from the city and county of Honolulu. City of County of Honolulu is the whole island of Oahu. So Maui has its own laws, and the Big Island has its own laws. Maui and the Big Island have very big resort zones, so there's still a lot of places to do Airbnbs. In Honolulu, the resort zone is very small. It's just Waikiki.
But even outside the resort zones in Maui, you can do it still, or no?
I'm not really an expert on the other islands, but I know that it's somewhat easier in Maui.
Right.
Wow. Man, it's like cities are just dropping like dominoes. Like
the
city that I live in, it just got. Well, they came a little bit lenient. They had shut it down. Then they said, hey, you can do it in a certain area. Now they're saying you can do it in a certain area, but it has to be a duplex. Then in other areas, you can do it, but it has to be a duplex. So, yeah, it's getting tough out there.
Yeah, same hotel lobbyists.
Yeah, it's. I think Honolulu really went way too far on this. Like there was just no leniency, or not even thought about what's going to happen in the implication. I think the implication is going to be just a lot of empty, expensive houses. That's what's going to happen, because you have a lot of beachfront property on the island that it's like a $3 million house. No local family can afford to rent it, on a regular basis, right? Like no one's going to pay $10,000 rent, and the owner can probably just sustain it just as a vacation home that they come to 2 or 3 times a year, and it's just going to be empty the rest of the time. There'll be no tax money going to the local government. no revenue going to restaurants, tour operators, cleaning people, maintenance people, property managers, real estate people. All of that is just money that was on the table and is not on the table, and just going to be an empty house.
Yeah, and I think that's you hit on the biggest part. That's what people are missing on. It's the money that you stop. Small businesses grow, tourism grows. It's crazy that they're willing to miss out on all that.
It always comes down to who is better organized and who has more concentrated resources, right? So the hotel lobby has a lot of concentrated resources. They're better organized. They sent out, the union, the hotel worker union, to every city council meeting, to every demonstration. Like, here, take the day off, go make an impact, right? So, that all the entrepreneurs and service providers, they're not organized. They can't, concentrate their effort the way that the hotels can.
I think that big companies, big industry saw what Uber did to the taxi industry, and they're like, "Oh crap, we got to get ahead of this faster than the taxi cab industry didn't do nothing, and they almost died because of Uber." And so I think the hotels were like, "Okay, this is getting pretty popular. Let's do something about this. Let's pay off talk to the right people."
I mean, I actually believe there is room for sensible regulations on this. I totally get if they'll be like, okay, you can only have properties that are vacation homes, right? They're not lived in. Only like secondary properties should be allowed. Maybe only local people can have a license, right? Because everyone is complaining about money from foreigners or people from the mainland, and you're like, okay, so let's let people that live here have that opportunity, or maybe just allow it for hosted units. But they were just like, no, nothing. So it's I think there's other ways to do it, and I think there is room for regulation. I'm fine with it, as long as it makes sense. I think in this case it doesn't.
Right.
But it's a lot of people ask, well, how does that affect your business? Well, the answer is that it doesn't really affect our business. Well, maybe 1% or even less than that of our businesses in the state, and even less than that is in the island of Oahu. So it doesn't really have a material impact on our business, but it's just that we live here, we're part of the community, and it's painful for us to see all this opportunity being wasted.
Yeah. So back to your company. I was going to ask, what was I going to ask? Okay, about the short-term rental industry. Do you still consider it the wild, wild west? Is there like big things to come? Aside from the bans and legislation, is there like big positive things to come out of this? And do you have any major competitors that are fighting for some of the turnover portion of it?
Yeah, we have some competitors. None of them have, I think, our focus on automation, on making things autopilot. I think they have a different take on things. They also don't offer the first property for free. And one of the reasons that have been very successful is that we do that. We let people, like small operations, why don't you get started with it? And then when you're ready to scale, then we'll do it together. In terms of the industry as a whole, I think it is here to stay. I think people have gotten used to it and they're not going to give up on it. I think what's going to happen, for example, in Oahu, that people are just not going to come to Oahu. Like if you want to go on a family vacation, and it's like you and your brother and all the kids, you got like 8-10 people, you're not going to stay in a hotel. It's just ridiculous. It's just, there's no way to do it, right? You're not going to rent out 4 rooms. it's it's expensive and it's just not as fun. And people are just not going to come to Oahu. They're going to go somewhere else where they can do it. We recently went on vacation with the family. We didn't even look for hotels because it doesn't make sense to do it. So I think the family vacation is completely short-term rental. That's the future of it. And you actually see companies like Marriott going into vacation rentals because they can see it, right?
That's ironic right there.
Yeah, they can see that that's the future of it. Also, a lot of business travel. People just need a place to rest, and they don't want to spend $300 in a major city. And as a business, when you fly out your employees somewhere, you're like, oh, I'm not going to get your room for $300 a night. Just get a nice Airbnb for you. It'll be fine. I think what the consumer wants, the consumer gets. So that you cannot crush the demand. And people, and if New York is going to ban it, then people are going to go to New Jersey. And if Oahu is going to ban it, then people are going to go to Maui.
Exactly.
And I think municipalities are going to come to terms with the fact that that's what people want. And it's okay if they want to have more of that or less of that, or if they don't want it at all. But what people want, people get, and people want that experience, especially in the business travel and especially family travel.
Right.
Yeah, and you hit a good point when you said people coming as families. That if you get 3 hotel rooms, what are they costing? $200-$300 a night there. Yeah. You can get an Airbnb for $300 a night and fit everyone. Yeah, it's ridiculous. You're right.
It's just people are just not going to come to places that don't have that possibility. It's a calculus that municipalities are going to have to do. Well, if I don't want family vacations here, then that's fine. I can ban Airbnb. But if I want to have family vacation, then I need to have the kind of supply that families want. Mm-hmm. And I think Airbnb has enabled families to have that nice vacation opportunity that that wasn't available before, or was hard to come by. I still have a family in Israel, and sometimes we sort of meet in the middle in Europe. And, I bring my kids and they bring their kids, and we all get like a big house somewhere, and always through Airbnb because it's just so easy to do.
Here's, speaking on that a little bit, here's one thing, like I have friends that they know I do like a little bit of real estate, some long-term rentals and some short-term. And they always ask me with the short-term rentals and the vacation, what happens if there's a recession that's going to come, man? I mean, no one's going to travel anymore, which to me that's BS. But people will travel. I told them I think it might help my business a little bit because they're going to look for ways to travel cheaper if there's like an actual recession. People still want to do something besides just work and have 5 jobs. That's not American. The American way. They still want to have vacations, but they're going to try to do it on save a little bit more money. They're not going to stay at the Marriott or Hilton anymore. They're going to look for Airbnbs. I think it might benefit us even more. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, recession, if it were to come, will probably have a dual impact. One will be like an overall sort of softening of travel, but people are going to be more value driven, and that I think is where we shine. So it's going to be, it will probably have net out to keep us at the same level, because there's going to be like less demand for travel, but more demand for value travel. And it probably will have, even when you have a recession, then you have like 5% less, right? Or 10% less. It's not going to be like half. Right. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up because I was actually at a workshop about 2 days ago, and we actually ran the numbers on how was travel affected on the last recession, and the travel only went down, I think, 1% per quarter. So people were still moving because that was my
Yeah.
big thing. Because after I looked at the stock and I'm like, man, if I want to throw more money in Airbnb, what's going to happen if there's a recession? I don't want to be sitting there stuck. So me and two guys, we did a whole research on it. It was only like 1% per quarter. So it dropped a total, I think, 6%. So it wasn't too bad.
So people still travel, but they might change their travel patterns, right? They might, instead going far, go close. Instead of staying in a nice hotel, stay in a cheap hotel. Instead of staying at a hotel at all, stay in an Airbnb. So there's shifting of, I think, where you're vulnerable is if you look sort of high end, but not extreme high end. Because, extreme high end, they're millionaires, billionaires, they don't care, right? But if you're talking about sort of like medium to high, maybe there's will be a little softening there.
Yeah, see, and that is true if you're high end. See, and that's what I was saying, because I kind of hopped out of arbitraging instead going towards buying, because I think if you buy, you kind of have more control over your mortgage, how much you're paying per month. If you're paying $1,300 for a 1 bed, 1 bath, if a recession hits, that might be kind of hard to make, because you're limited to 4 guests probably. So I think it depends on what kind of unit you have. The effect depends on the type of unit you have.
Hopefully we won't have to check our numbers against reality. But I'm optimistic. I think any negative impacts will be offset by positive impacts.
Yeah.
Cool. One thing I always like to ask our guests is to give like a tidbit, like something that you do different. Mostly we interview people that do Airbnb and stuff like that. But what you do different, or something unique, or advice, just general advice in the short term economy, or or rentals, and just because a lot of people are starting out, they might be having issues, and they need some good advice. And since you've done Airbnb before, but I mean, business advice, if you'd like to give some like business tips, because obviously y'all are running a successful business, whatever off the top of your head, some advice to our listeners that will help them on their journey in either Airbnb or business in general.
I would say don't be afraid to take risks, right? Business is all about taking calculated risks. So, if you're going to go into this, then you're taking risks, right? Because you're taking on a lease or you're buying a property, and there is no guaranteed return, right? Like you said, could be a recession, could be a problem, but you don't get ahead without taking risks. And it's nice to take them one step at a time. So instead of buying 2 properties, buy 1, see if it pencils out in that neighborhood, then buy another one. But if you don't take risks, you don't get rewards. And it doesn't get any simpler than that.
Great. That's perfect advice. We love it. But we're going to take major risk tomorrow. So, Assaf, where can people find you or learn more about, TurnoverBnb?
So you can go to turnoverbnb.com, and you can learn all about our product. You can sign up, start using it right away. Should be very easy. But if you'd like some hand-holding, we have our dedicated customer service people around the clock just waiting for your questions and helping you getting started. It just takes a couple of minutes to set up, and then you save yourself so much time down the road. And what you do with that time, taking those risks, taking advantage of opportunities, is what we're all about. Is stop doing repetitive tasks that we can do for you, and get started doing interesting, rewarding things that only you can do.
Great advice.
Great advice.
And real quick, Assaf, if you have any of those empty houses in Hawaii, I mean, I'd be happy to go over there and fill them up. Might be my family. Might be Myka and his family too.
Yeah, so, our team here, we're all about our quality of life here in Hawaii, and we love to, experience the outdoors. And if you guys ever come, and I know you have a property, Mike, then we'll take you out sailing.
Okay.
One of our co-founders has a sailboat, and we go out sailing sometimes. And in the sunset, you feel like there's no other place you'd rather be.
Oh, well, just found our next vacation spot.
And yeah, man, this has been a great interview. What do you think, Myka?
Yeah, it was a good interview. Thank you for being on. I love the app. I've been using it, I think, probably 6 to 8 months, and I'm in love with it. So I have multiple properties on there. So it's my main source of cleaners.
Fantastic.
So all you fans and listeners, sign up today. Like, it's free. We're not even pushing nothing. I mean, it's just it sells itself. It'll change your life. There you go. Well, thank you, Assaf, for hopping on.
It's a pleasure to be here, and let me know if you want to talk more sometime.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Well, thanks for hopping on, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay, take care.
Thank you. See you.
All right. That was Assaf Karmon, the CEO and founder of TurnoverBnb, and that was pretty freaking awesome.
Yes, it was, man. That's a true entrepreneur. Don't be afraid to take risks. I loved it. I just added him on LinkedIn.
I saw you, because you've been using this TurnoverBnb for a while, but I saw you more. It looked like you're more interested in the business side. Like, how the hell did he blow up like that?
Yeah. Because to be launched in 2017 and in 2019 you're in 66 countries. That's insane growth. Like, when you start a business, that is insane growth, man. Like, even look at Airbnb. When did they start? 2008. They ain't popped that fast.
No.
But at the same time, they're a pick and shovel of Airbnb, so it probably was easy for them to pop. Like, I think they're in a perfect market. Like, most people are trying to find cleaners. Like, I need a cleaner, and boom, here's an app for it.
Yeah,
it's easy.
And that's what I heard on a business podcast not too long ago. It was saying you don't always have to invent the wheel, the next big thing. Invent something that ain't there. You can find something that's already there, like Airbnb is already there, already kicking butt, already doing good, and then make something that'll help that process even better. In any walk of life, what I'm saying? Renting a car, someone, make that process better for people. Make, something that already exists, just find a way to make it better, to fill the need. And he definitely filled the need, because that's the biggest problem is the turnovers.
Yeah, the biggest thing in business, man, you got to find the void. You gotta find what people are gonna buy and what they need. Like, even with Turo, you may need somebody to clean your car. I know car cleaning has gone through the roof since Turo's been out there. Because think about it, like, the regular car companies, they just clean it right there. Now somebody might be running that thing through a car wash nonstop. But it's just so many things that are coming about just from the share economy. And he touched on it good when he talked about Hawaii. And if you shut down Airbnb, you're taking a huge chunk of change from everywhere else, cleaners. It's just like I was talking to Josh, one of our podcast guests, yesterday, and we were talking about Uber's coming to Dallas. And I'm like, man, it's about to create a bunch of jobs. You're going to have to build the headquarters. You got to get construction workers. Then you got to get the people that come in and work those jobs for Uber. So, man.
Texas don't play, man. They're getting a lot of business here.
And the funny thing is, when you talked about a recession, that's when I got comfortable when Uber said they were coming. I'm like, oh, yeah, we ain't about to. Like, we could get a recession. We might not get it that hard, man. Texas I don't think they about to feel it again. I think everybody else is going to be struggling. In Texas, we're going to be having our feet up. Like, we chilling down here.
And then more people are going to move here and want to buy stuff.
Exactly. It'll turn into Cali soon. Well, I don't know if we'll ever turn into Cali. We ain't got no coast.
Yeah, we got a coast.
No, we got an oil coast.
Oh man, well, that was a great show. It's also always awesome hopping on with you and talking shop, man, and meeting interesting, amazing people that are kicking butt in the industry.
Yeah, man. But catch us at liveletthrive@gmail.com, liveletthrive.com. You can follow us on LinkedIn, man. I'm about to get a bunch of stuff popping off on LinkedIn, man. All our videos up there. I'm doing a whole revamp, man. I'm really big on advertising right now, getting us out there, man. So yeah, catch us, follow us, like us, rate us, subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, all that good stuff. We're gonna have more good guests coming for you.
And keep living,
letting,
and thriving. Thrive. All right, y'all. Later.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.